All right, we are back. It's episode 46 of the Punching Down podcast. I am in, if you're watching this, you're like, where the fuck am I? I'm in this weird-ass bedroom in this place I'm staying at in lovely Miami, Florida. Miami Danny is back in full effect. It's lovely outside, although the place I'm staying at, it's hot as shit here. I still don't know how to convert stuff into Fahrenheit, but it's in the 80s, and then like the day I got here, the air conditioning broke where I'm staying, so it's been pretty hot, but the air conditioning just got turned back on, so we're back in business. I'm gonna be here for about the next month or so. So if you're watching the podcast, it's gonna look a bit different, but otherwise all good. We got lots of It's Friday morning right now. I was gonna normally I do these on Wednesday nights, but then on Wednesday Gamestop went crazy again. I can't believe it. I'm eating my words right now. I've never ate my words more than right now. Well, I mean, I'm not eating my words. So I was gonna do it, and then GameStop all of a sudden on Wednesday. GameStop was at like $45 on Tuesday, something, or even less, $40 on Tuesday, and then all of a sudden on Wednesday, like afternoon, at like 3 p.m., GameStop just starts taking off. It's just like it basically went from let me see it here. Let me pull this up. GameStop went from wrong. So it was at $45, and then it went to, and nobody knows why. There's not any news or whatever. It was at $45, and then it closed the day at like 92, which was insane. And so then I'm like, oh, I can't record the podcast now. I got to find out what's going to happen. So now we have maybe a slightly better indication. So there was no news. The only news that happened, and this isn't even news, but this is what you get for news with GameStop, is the CEO, or not the CEO, that dude Ryan Cohen, who's like trying to take over the company and like owns he's like a board director or whatever. He posted a photo of a McDonald's ice cream cone, which people, I guess that's good for a couple $100 billion in market cap. I have no idea. Like nobody really understands why. But so anyways, it takes off. And I think what happens is, like with that kind of stuff, is it starts taking off, and then people are like, oh shit, GameStop's taking off again. And then they're like, I'll just try and get in. I honestly actually was like, it was at $70. I was like, maybe I'll try and buy a little here. Like, who knows? But I have my brokerage is TD in Canada, and they didn't even offer it. You can't even buy it. They wouldn't let you buy it, which is pretty fucked up that they won't even let you buy a pretty like heavily traded stock. Like, I don't know what the reason is, but they're like, I didn't even have the option to buy it, which was pretty fucked up. So then, and then after hours, it was up to like $170. Then yesterday, it went as high as $184, just to sucker in some more bag holders. Although, you know what? I said that because I've been pretty vocal on this podcast, where I was like, you know, if you have GameStop and at $45, just sell it and move on with your life. I was wrong. Couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, you know, talk to me in a week from now. I might be right again. This might just be your opportunity. Might have been a short window of an opportunity to get out. I don't know. It's possible that it's going back up to $480. I guess at this point anything's possible, but I'm going to say probably not, because so it sold off pretty hard. It went from it got as high as 185 yesterday, and then it closed at 108. But yesterday was a pretty choppy day. The markets were down in general, so the fact that it was even up was crazy. So like, and that's another thing too. So on Wednesday, when GameStop started taking off, just for shits and giggles, AMC and BlackBerry and all those other heavily shorted names that are no longer heavily shorted. That's the thing, is like, at least GameStop, it used to be like, yeah, we're buying GameStop because there's this crazy short squeeze, but it's like people aren't that shorted anymore. So, like it's not even really like a thing where you're playing this crazy short squeeze. That's not happening. So, but anyway, so AMC rocketed again, although it's now like sharply lower than it was on Wednesday. Same with BlackBerry, because the general market, I mean, it's the resilience of GameStop is impressive. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that it's currently up today. It's at $123. I mean, I can't see any sort of reason why it could go back up to $400. Like, who knows? But who knows at this point? We'll say that. Who the fuck knows? But it's pretty wild. I had a friend of mine, a comedian from Toronto. He like messaged me. He's like, dude, I have 3 shares of GameStop. What should I do? This was on Wednesday night. I was like, dude, sell them immediately, or at least sell one, because he had 3 shares, $150. But he's like, whatever, sell one of them. Like, get your money back, and then you have 2 free shares of GameStop. You can let them ride if you want, but it just makes zero sense. Like, I can't see what GameStop could do. And there's no news. That's another thing, too. There's no news. A lot of people were pretty critical of them, too, because you're like, any normal publicly traded company, if their shares just go up 100% for no reason, they issue, like, a press release being like, hey, just so everybody knows, we have no news. Just, I don't know what this is about, but just so you know, like, we don't have any news coming, like, it's just like kind of a standard thing to do. GameStop has just been silent. They have said, like, that's the one thing that nobody's really like discussed, is GameStop has said nothing this entire time. You haven't heard one thing from GameStop being like, we don't know why or shit, whatever. Like, they just have been completely silent on the matter. AMC, which I had mentioned previously, that if you owned it, it maybe would have been a good hold. Yeah, it's back down a lot. It's $8. It was like as high as 11. I thought it was gonna rocket, but that's the thing. It's like, so GameStop's going up, so then all of a sudden everybody's like, you know what? AMC should go up too, because it went up last time. You're like, these things are not really correlated, other than the fact that like they were for a week in time, some time ago. But so. That's what's happened with GameStop. Is it back? I don't think so. If you are up on it, I highly recommend. That's the thing, is like, I'd say like set a stop loss so that at least you can break even in the event that it drops again. If you were someone who owned it at like 100 or something, but the way it trades, it's like, it could open on Monday at $40 again, and you're just like, you'll never have a chance to sell. So I don't fucking know. Lots of crazy shit going on in the world of the stock market. I'm getting fucking lit up. Not lit up, but not doing great this past week, which is, normal. All of my stocks got killed. And then, so basically the reason why everything's going up, all the cryptos are getting killed. We're going to talk about NBA Top Shot. Of course, I'm going to be giving away my Jerami Grant NBA Top Shot. What a wild ride that's been. So basically, if people are wondering why stocks are going down, the essential reason is that, like, and I'm not like a super expert on this. This is just from kind of what I gather. But so, there's government bonds that, so there's like, there's an overall prevailing interest rate. It's like the interest rate that the central bank sets. It's currently super low. The bond market is essentially saying that it's going to go up, which is still insanely low. Like, it's as low as it's ever been. It's as close to zero as possible. But so essentially the bond interest rates are going up. Stock market doesn't like that. So then the stock market is going down a lot. It seems to be stabilizing a bit today, but it was pretty dicey yesterday and today. But the thing is normally on these big down days, it's hard to know when to sell, because it's like, sometimes you're like, oh, you sell, and I've been here where it's like, it's a really like scary day, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to sell my stocks, take some losses, and just be out of the market. And then the next day they go down even further, and you're like, oh man, I'm so smart, I sold. I would have lost all this more money. And then 2 days later, it's higher than it was. And you're like, oh, because the thing is, it's like, you have to be really on the ball to be like, oh, I'm going to get out and then get back in. But a lot of times you just get back out and then you just watch it. You're like, okay, I'm on the sidelines. I got nothing to worry about here. And then like 2 days later, it's just higher. And you're like, oh, fuck, why didn't I just do nothing? Doing nothing almost always is the best thing to do. It's hard to do nothing, especially when your stocks are going down. But doing nothing very oftentimes is the best course of action. Just do nothing. And a lot of times it's good. Bitcoin got hammered too. These are all related. This is the thing. Is like I was talking to my friend who is the founder of the Hard Money website. His name is Enrique Abeda. He used to run this big hedge fund, over $1 billion hedge fund in the early 2000s. And he's like, these are just all these assets. They're just risk assets where people who are making money and things are going well, and they're like, we'll take risks. NBA Top Shot's a perfect one where like it keeps going up, but then when the stock market's down, all of a sudden NBA Top Shot's down, which again, we'll talk about that shortly. But crypto's getting hammered, although crypto's deserved it. Like, they were up so much. They needed to just take a breather. I bought some, I think I bought Ethereum last week at like $1,960. It was like probably the worst timing possible. I bought it because I bought some crypto because it's like such a pain in the ass. I wanted to put, on the NBA Top Shot shit, to put money in your NBA Top Shot account, it's like they charge you 5% every time you buy anything. So then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put money into like a crypto wallet and then buy Ethereum and then transfer the Ethereum, and then I bought the Ethereum and it just dropped like fucking 20%. So that did not work out. And then instead of putting it into my crypto wallet, I bought Flow, which is the NBA Top Shot token. So that's exciting. Anyway, it's NBA Top Shot. We're going to talk about this, and then I'm going to give away the Jerami Grant right now. So if you're watching this and you commented on last week's episode, I'm going to give away the Jerami Grant NBA Top Shot. So let's just get an idea of here's what's been going on with Top Shot. It fucking rocketed. They did almost $50 million of sales in one day last week, which is insane. It's come back down to earth, but also their marketplace has just been like, it's so buggy. Like I was talking to my friend Matt, because Matt like bought these CryptoKitties things, and he goes, dude, this is exactly the same thing. He's like, the whole thing's gonna crash. It's like it's going to shit. But like it's because not hackers, but like bots keep trying to infiltrate their marketplace, which is just like running amok on their website. So their website's becoming like basically unusable. And then all these people are like, I just want to get out, and they sell. It's crazy though. You go to this website, it's called evaluate.market, and you can see people's Top Shot portfolios. People have, there's someone with a $36 million Top Shot account. They have $36 million worth of these basketball moments. It's fucking crazy. So the Jerami Grant that I'm giving away, let's I'm going to pull this up. So this thing was as high as like $100. When I talked about this last week, would have been 9 days ago now, that I'm like 8 days ago. I'm giving away an NBA Top Shot. I'm giving away my Jerami Grant. I was like, I picked this one because I was like, it wasn't the worst one I had, but it was one of the worst ones I had. Let's not fool ourselves here. It wasn't like my top shot, but he's he was almost an all-star this year. I don't think he was. So in the last week, this moment was selling for, it got as high as like, I think like $90. I was seeing it for like, because the market got crazy for a minute where people were just like panicking to get in, and it got like in the $90 range. It got up there. Like I was like, holy shit, this thing, I'm giving away a fucking, like I was like, by the time this happens, it's going to be $100. The market cooled off. It's now selling for, let's see, because it's based on the serial number. The serial number that I will be giving away to people is number... the serial number that I will be giving away is number 3052 out of 15,000, which is good because the lower the number, the better. And a number 2000 roughly just sold for $43 earlier today, but that would have been like a few days ago. Maybe a week ago, that would have been like $100. But anyway, so we're giving away this Top Shot. It's been crazy. On my other podcast that we're doing on the $1 Million podcast for Hard Money, we basically are making a $10,000 Top Shot account. That's funded by like whatever the team. And then we're going to see if we can spin it up, as they say, and turn an NBA Top Shot account into $1 million. Probably not going to. We're probably going to lose it all. That would be the realistic scenario, but we're going to try. And then the purchase I made, because they were like, they essentially entrusted me to allocate this $10,000, which is fucking absurd. Like, that they're like, they have so much money. They're like, here's 10 grand, go buy some digital basketball cards. So I was like, and the funny thing is, so I bought 3 LaMelo Ball rookies. He's like the rookie on the Charlotte Hornets. He's like LeVar Ball, Lonzo Ball's brother, and LeVar Ball's son. He was the number 2 draft pick. And I was like, I bought it because I was like, yeah, I think this is going to be a really good one. It's his only one. It's like, it's pretty limited. And then had I bought anything else, I would have done so much better. But it's doing well. So this is how crazy Top Shot is, okay? We didn't even put, because of like transaction fees or whatever, we didn't even put 10,000 in. We put like $9,800 in, and it's currently worth $14,382. We bought these LaMelo balls. We bought 3 of them for basically $9,500, and now the 3 of them are worth about $13,500. So not bad. Up about $4,000 on the LaMelo ball purchases. Could be better, but we're gonna hold out and see how it goes. Okay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give away a LaMelo ball. I'm sorry, there's not that many more stock talks this week. I had a couple technical issues in this new place. Hopefully, we'll have it sorted out by next week. So this isn't gonna be like a super long episode, but okay. So here we go. I'm on a random name picker website. I have everybody's name in here. I'm going to read off everybody, okay? JP3, enter username Rotimi, Jericho Jock, Adrian Blizzard, Dr. Practical Hat, Cast Me Outside Podcast, Nick Rady, Joy of Passy, Jordan Wendy, Sun Goku, Alex Byron, Babylon Skanky, Couched Sheeb, Jay Sancha 8, Marshall Brennan. Okay, so I'm going to hit shuffle name, and now we are going to pick the winner. If you are the winner of this, I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to, I guess the best way to do this is just DM me on Twitter. Yeah, DM me on Twitter if you have Twitter, or DM me on Instagram, either of them. And then you have to make an NBA Top Shot account, which is probably... You can do it in 2 seconds, and then I will transfer it to you. Okay. Let's see. And the winner is JP3. Congratulations, JP3. You are the winner of the Jerami Grant Top Shot, current value of whatever, $35, but who knows what else it's going to be. It was like, there were some of them, I think it was like it was like $10 last episode. So you're talking about a 300% return in a week. Pretty good. At that rate, we'll be at, by next week, what are we going to be at? I'm not good at math, but we'll be higher. Hopefully. Hopefully I gave away a Top Shot, and then in 10 years, that thing is worth like this is like the equivalent of, you know how people bought Bitcoin for, like all those people who bought like a Bitcoin for fucking, or not bought a pizza for like 18,000 Bitcoin, and which would be worth like $400 million. And they're like, yeah, that was a mistake. I hope I made that mistake. I hope I just gave a punching down listener, Jerami Grant, worth $400 million someday. Although, how could it possibly be? Like, because there's some of these things where they're getting up there, and I'm like, how could this ever be more than this price? But I don't know. You got to just plug your nose, as they would say, and just hope, I guess. I don't know. Okay. What else do we got? Okay, so I'm in Miami. This is cool. It's Friday morning right now. Went to my first live sporting event in over a year. I went to the Toronto Raptors, currently the Tampa Bay Raptors, who are my home team when they were in Toronto, are currently playing. They're playing in Tampa, but I'm in Miami, and they were playing the Miami Heat on Wednesday night. So I was like, I have to go to this. There's no way I'm not going to this game. Went to the game. It was interesting. So they have, this is the only place, at least professional sports, that has this. They have COVID sniffing dogs. So you go into the venue and they walk you through this whole like maze, like, kind of system where you know, it's like whatever, pretty standard, like going into an event. And then they give you like numbers. There's like spots. And so I think it's like 16 or 20 people at a time, and everybody has to walk up, and then they stand on this little circle, and then these like dogs, they just walk up and down and they sniff people for COVID. And apparently they've trained these dogs to sniff for COVID. And if you have COVID, I guess they like, it's like a bomb drug sniffing dog. They just like do their thing. They sit beside you or something. I don't know. And then they I don't know if like they're like, they take you aside and then they give you another test, or if they're just like, you're just not allowed to come in. Because it's like, I don't know, tickets are not like, some tickets are expensive. That would suck if they're like, yeah, you're not allowed to come in and you don't get a refund on your ticket because we think you have COVID. And you're like, there's no way it's 100% accurate. It's impossible. Like, I'm sure it could be more than 90%, but so I don't know how they deal with that stuff, but they take you aside. So there were these COVID sniffing dogs, and then we finally got in. It took forever to get in. They only sell like, I think they're selling 4,000 tickets. It seats like 20,000 roughly. There's only 4. So it looks like I was like joking about this. I know this joke's probably been made, but looks like a WNBA game in there. You're like, it's just, there's no, and like every row you're in, there's like 2 seats, like at least where I was, there's 2 seats available per row. So it's really sparse. Raptors got hosed. They got it close right at the end there, but then a couple no calls by the refs, which, you know, when they go against you, it sucks. But it was interesting. You can't eat or drink at the seats. They have like instead of like, they're ushers, because the ushers don't have much to do now, so they just have these little signs that say please socially distance, just over and over again. It was cool though. I will be going back. The Raptors, I don't think will be playing again in Miami, but I'll go see some other teams, because I mean, that's the longest I've ever gone without seeing a live sporting event for a long time. Like I mean, all of 2020 I didn't go. I may have gone at the beginning of 2020. I can't remember. Like maybe the first week of 2020 I went and saw a Brooklyn Nets game, but I don't think so. That's crazy. So I guess live sports are back. They kind of suck. Yeah, there's like, you can eat food and drink outside, like, you know, during halftime or whatever, but you can't bring anything into the arena. Kind of a bummer, but we're getting closer to being back. I'll say that, and that is a good sign. Okay, we got a few things on the docket this week that we want to talk about. So, this is kind of stock related. I only caught a bit of this, but Vlad, the guy from Robinhood, because, you know, like Dave Portnoy has basically been saying the guy from Robinhood, Vlad Tenev, the CEO, should go to jail. So I guess Vlad messaged him, like DM'd him, being like, hey, and then they went on this group chat, or not group chat, sorry, like a Barstool Live or like Instagram Live. And they had a talk, and basically Portnoy said like some pretty good points, but the main one is because Vlad's like, you know, because at one point he was trying to make the point where he's like, look, you know, we stop people from, like, because they stop people from buying. He goes, it's like, he's kind of like, you know, we did people a favor. We stopped them from buying GameStop at $400 a share. Like, we did you a favor. And like Portnoy's like, no, and because it's like, not enough people have brought up the fact, and I've kind of said this too, but like you know, you broke the fucking trade essentially, and like you only allowed selling. So it's like, yeah, the price obviously is going down. So it's like, but some people bought in at whatever, like 200, 300, you fucked them too. Like they fucked so many people. He's so evasive. And the crazy thing is like, there's going to be no effect on Robinhood. They're still going to IPO. Everybody's going to love them. They're going to make lots of money, all that stuff. But it was interesting too, because at least like props to Vlad for going on there, because you know that like Portnoy was going to fucking light him up. And he did. He was just like, dude, you're a fucking, he basically was like, you know, super shady. And Vlad was like, you know, there's nothing we could do. He's just passing the buck. He's like, you know, it's not our fault. Like, we're blaming the regulators, and that's kind of been his story. He just goes on these like press tours now, just like apologizing. Sucks for him too, because you're like, even if it wasn't his fault, like, I guess that's why he gets paid all this money to be the CEO. Just fucking take all this heat. Okay. A few things we're going to do, and then I'm going to go, because this is going to be a little shortened Miami episode, and then we'll be back to normal next week. Okay, this is the news. This is so stupid, because I'm like, this is one of those chalk those up to like, I refuse to care. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm not going to be indignant. I don't care. But so there's like the big story this week was Mr. Potato Head. Like, remember Mr. Potato Head? I maybe played with this for a week when I was 5 years old. It's like not a cool, like the idea that we're talking about Mr. Potato Head now, where you're like, it's 2021. Like, kids have probably way fucking cooler shit to play. Like, Mr. Potato Head was like, yeah, I played with this when I was, 7 years old in 1990. Because like, what else was there? But like, now there's just a million fucking things. Mr. Potato Head is like one of the like least enticing things to play with. But anyway, so I guess they got a Hasbro or whatever had to, get people all riled up again and get some free publicity from Mr. Potato Head. So they announced that they're dropping Mr. from the brand's name in order to be more inclusive. So it's just going to be called Potato Head. And you're like I'm telling you, the marketing department there was like, they knew this. They go, look, you know what? There's all these like people who get all whipped up when we like do all this like gender related stuff, where we're like, we go, oh, there's like no male or female kind of stuff. And they'll be like, we're just going to drop the names. Cause who cares if it's a Mr.? It's a fucking potato with all these like accessories. What does it matter? Like, you can make it look like a chick. You can make it look like a dude. You can make it look like a chick dude. You can make it look like a dude chick. Doesn't matter. So then they're like, oh, we're just, and they use like the right wing outrage to just like, because the fact is, I'm talking about Mr. Potato Head. I haven't even thought about Mr. Potato Head in, I don't know, 25 years. When was the last time you even had a Mr. Potato Head related thought? I don't know. It's been a long ass time. But so then obviously, like, everybody, like, they just do this, and then they get Tucker Carlson to be like, Mr. Potato Head, what's wrong with Mr. And then everybody just fucking loses their minds over Mr. Potato Head. But it's just so funny, because obviously they like, they whip this up, and then, you're probably going to see like, oh, we saw a 3% spike in Potato Head sales or whatever. I don't know. It's a stupid product. Like, it's not like, oh, this is the amazing product, Potato Head. Like, nobody gives a shit about Potato Head. They're struggling to sell these things, and they're just like, what are we going to do? And then like, oh, we're just going to get the... And the funny thing, too, is like, then there's all these right-wing people who are like, our family is no longer a Potato Head family. And they're going to like... Just... Probably there'll be people who are like, we're boycotting Hasbro, too. They're like, we're going to boycott Hasbro. No more Hasbro for us. You'll never see us using a Hasbro product after they removed Mr. Potato Head. Like, it's like people are like, they get this just association where they're like, they couldn't care about it, and now all of a sudden they're just like Potato Head diehards. They're purists. We're like, no, it's Mr. Potato Head. There's no Potato Head. Okay. And here's a similar thing, actually. So Coca-Cola got in trouble because they had some like thing on LinkedIn where it was like, some sensitivity training nonsense. And so they had these slides going around, and the slides of Coca-Cola were like, telling people to be less white. Remember when like being less white was like, get some rhythm, learn how to dance a bit, be less white. And now it's like, yeah, take off the robes and the Klan hoods. But so there was like these slides going around being like, to be less white is to be less oppressive, less arrogant, less certain. I don't know if certainty is a white thing. Less defensive, be less ignorant, be more humble, listen, believe. Break with apathy. Break with white solidarity. It's weird shit. That's a weird thing to be sitting around when you work at Coca-Cola. But anyways, people obviously, again, and it's the kind of thing where it's like people all get whipped up. It's a crazy thing to be at work and just like be receiving stuff like this. It's the white fragility lady. I guess it's from her like white fragility class or whatever lecture thing, and got passed around at Coca-Cola. But you're like, we work at Coke. We literally make diabetes juice that, makes people's lives generally worse. And that's not even like factoring in, in 50 years from now, and they're like, oh yeah, all that aspartame that caused cancer too. But they're like, what? Be less white. Don't like not kill people with diabetes. Just be less white. So, but this is another thing, because all the conservatives are like, we're a Pepsi family now. We're never drinking Coke again. Pepsi should come out. But Pepsi did that thing with the was it Caitlyn Jenner, one of them, Kylie, where she like handed the Pepsi, and then they got made fun of a lot. So there's just no winning. You do stuff and then you get but Coke doesn't need free publicity. It's fucking Coca-Cola. But the amount of people conservative families who were like, probably like drank a fucking 2-liter bottle of Coke with dinner every night, and then they're like, damn it, can't drink Coke ever again. Okay, last one, and then I gotta go. This is from The Simpsons. The only way The Simpsons manages to stay relevant right now is by killing characters off. They're not even killing them off. So Harry Shearer, this is announced this last week. I can't even believe the show's still on. But so Harry Shearer, excuse me, I have a runny nose for no reason. I don't know why. Harry Shearer, he voiced Dr. Hibbert, who's basically Bill Cosby. And it's funny that they're not getting rid of the Dr. Hibbert character because he's essentially Bill Cosby, who's a serial rapist. No, they are getting rid of Dr. Hibbert because he's a black doctor who's voiced by a white man. And they're not even getting rid of him. They're like, there's going to be a new person voicing him. And remember they did a Harry Shearer, or the Hank Azaria's like, I'm not doing a poo anymore. And they're just getting rid of all their characters. And you're like, nobody gives a shit. Like it's so sad that that's like the last way they need to be relevant is by, like the last just way that they can be relevant is basically by like, oh, we're gonna get rid of a character, and you're like, nobody cares. It's like, so what? He just get rid of the character, just get a new character instead of a new black doctor. Dr. Hibbert's like, and what is it? Is he just gonna sound the same, and they're just giving a job to here's a job to a black person, and then like, because Harry Shearer is like, he's not losing anything. He's like, he still voices whatever 12 characters. So it's like, I don't know. It's so stupid. This stuff is The Simpsons are like, nobody's watching this. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to watch The Simpsons now that they're no longer portraying a black doctor with a white voice actor. It's stupid. Okay. That was the episode. Congrats to, who was it again? Who won? PJ3. PJ3. If you were the winner, I think it was PJ3. Did I not write this down? Whatever I said, it was PJ3. It was. Contact me here. Oh yeah, random name picker. Here it is. JP3. That's what it is. JP3. Contact me. Twitter, Instagram, DM me, and I will transfer you the Jerami Grant Top Shot. All right, until next week, everybody, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, leave a like, leave a review, all that stuff. All right, bye-bye.